Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners, learners, the most honorable President Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, all my dear friends, Dr.RKS from USA, heartily cordially welcome all of you. It is very nice time, nice place, nice section that we are appreciating our Indian culture and its changes in the form of unity and diversity, from language to literature, science to spirituality. Dear friends, if we count, analyze, observe the history of our Indian culture, then we find that 14th, 15th century period, that is to be read all by competitors, those who are appearing in competitive examinations, all kind of examinations can be passed out by knowing the fundamentals, by knowing the basics of all the subjects of study. As we have studied that our India was discovered by Vasco da Gama in 1498. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj born in 1469. East India Company came in India, in Delhi, in 1600, and William Shakespeare, who born in 1564. These are the important dates that we read in all kind of literature in all languages. Especially this 14th, 15th century time, students of English literature read in the form of Elizabethan age. And this was the dark age according to the holy saints of this holy land. At that time, there was the freedom of writing any kind of literature. Due to the freedom in science, our all students efforted well. Time to time, it brought a great change according to the thoughts, ideas of the people of that time. But when we analyze this modern time, then we read it is really the India's Renaissance. How we are regenerating, recreating, reforming, reporting in the different fields. It is due to the result of our free thinkers, freedom fighters, foretellers, forecasters, that we are recollecting and reminding the starters, initiators, beginners, creators, generators, operators of this creation. Our all the personalities, they can be the true creator if they use their own philosophy on the basis of Platonic theory. We can say that we can be inventive and innovative in all the fields of science and literature. ISRO celebrates 100th launch. Its journey so far, some upcoming ventures from New Delhi with its first launch of 2025. The Indian Space Research Organization clocked a century of launches, a significant milestone for the space agency. Starting from humble origins, ISRO has developed several rockets. It has also carried out numerous scientific missions which provide useful data to researchers around the world. 6 generations of rockets. ISRO has so far developed at least 6 generations of launch vehicles, of which 4 remain operational. The first 2 generations of launchers, which are no longer in service, saw limited use. The SLV-3 that could carry a measly 40 kg to low Earth's orbit saw 3 developmental and 1 operational flights. Its successor is LV, an augmented version of the SLV-3, which could carry up to 150 kg to LEO, saw 4 developmental flights. It was with the 3rd generation PSLV, which continues to be ISRO's workhorse launcher today, that ISRO truly came into its own. The 4-stage rocket with solid and liquid fuel based engines is capable of carrying just under 2000 kg to LEO. Till date, the PSLO has gone to space 62 times, including 3 development flights. Only 2 PSLV launchers have been unsuccessful. The PSLV was followed by the GSLV, whose initial flights used cryogenic engines supplied by Russia. India later developed its own cryogenic engine. The GSLV F-15 utilized for the 100th launch was India's 11th successful flight using indigenously developed cryogenic engines. The GSLV can carry up to 6,000 kg to LEO. The GSLV MKIIL, now called LVM3, is capable of carrying nearly 85 kg to LEO. It is the heaviest launch vehicle in ISRO's arsenal at the moment. The LVM3 has thus far been used for 7 launches, all of which have been successful. It was notably used for the Chandrayaan-2 and 3 missions, and a modified human-rated version of the vehicle will be used for the Gaganyaan mission. The ISRO has also developed the small satellite launch vehicle to transfer to private industry for commercial launch of small satellites. The SSLV has thus far seen 3 developmental flights. 548 satellites placed in orbit. In its 100 launches, ISRO has placed in orbit 548 satellites weighing 120 tons in total. This includes 433 satellites weighing 23 tons that came from outside India. ISRO has launched communication satellites, Earth observation satellites, navigation satellites, and experimental satellites. With its 100th launch, ISRO put in orbit the NVS-02 satellite on Wednesday. This is one of the 5 replacement satellites for the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, also referred to as NAVIC. Navigation with Indian constellation. The new generation of NAVIC satellites are heavier, have a longer mission life, carrying an indigenously developed atomic clock on board, and are enabled to send signals in the L1 frequency band, something that will facilitate the greater adoption of NAVIC. NAVIC is a 7-satellite regional positioning system that can provide location data on the Indian mainland and up to 1500 kilometers around it. A fully functional NAVIC system with all 7 satellites and ground stations outside of India is likely to be more accurate than GPS in the region it covers, since NAVIC satellites are placed directly over India. Apart from satellites, ISRO has also launched several scientific missions such as the space-based observatory AstroSat, the Mars Orbiter mission or Mangalyaan, Chandrayaan 1, 2 and 3. The Space Observatory ExpoSat and the Solar Mission Aditya 1.1. Coming ventures with ISRO targeting big ticket mission such as a sample return mission from the moon, a mission to Venus, setting up an Indian space station and sending a man to moon. The space agency is working towards developing a heavier rocket called Next Generation Launch Vehicle. NGLV will be capable of carrying up to 30,000 kilogram to LEO. It will also have a reusable first stage, which would be utilized 15 to 20 times in order to make launches affordable. The Union Cabinet has greenlit the construction of a third launch pad at Sriharikota for NGSLV launches. The pad would be capable of launching human missions and also facilitate increasing the number of LVM3 launches. This would increase ISRO's capability to carry out heavy commercial missions. Promise of nuclear fusion. Although fusion technology has been in development for decades, progress has been slow, but recent breakthroughs have raised hope for its realization. Fusion can, in theory, solve the energy and climate crisis. An experimental nuclear fusion reactor in China last week triggered a lot of excitement by keeping its operational state maintained for more than 1000 seconds or over 17 minutes, which is a new record. Nuclear fusion is what produces energy in the sun or any other star. Scientists across the world have been trying to recreate this process, produce electricity. The technology can eliminate the world's energy crisis and the problem of climate change, but it has not been mastered yet. The China reactor did not produce electricity. It did not even carry out a fusion reaction. The technology has not yet reached that stage. However, the reactor managed to maintain plasma in a steady state of confinement for a long time, longer than it had previously been possible. This itself was a major step forward towards the dream of realizing a fusion-based nuclear reactor in the near future. Extreme conditions. Fusion reactions require very high temperatures, hundreds of millions of degrees Celsius, higher than the temperatures in the sun's core. At such high temperatures, matter exists only in the plasma state, in which atoms get split into positively and negatively charged particles. But such whole plasma cannot be handled by or contained in any material. Within the reactor, this plasma needs to be kept suspended in a confined space, surrounded by very strong magnetic fields acting as walls. Charged particles respond to magnetic fields, and this property is used to guide the flow of plasma within an enclosed space separated from any matter. This condition necessary for facilitating fusion reaction is extremely delicate and unstable. With the tiniest of changes in the magnetic fields disturbing the whole setup, scientists have not been able to maintain these conditions for longer than a few seconds. That is why the achievement of the experimental advanced superconducting tokamak EAST reactor located at the Institute of Plasma Physics in Anhui province in eastern China is being seen as so important. It is significant improvement on this reactor's previous record of a little over 400 seconds achieved in 2023. Real-life electricity generating reactors would require this state to be maintained for hours, even days at a stretch. Only then would continuous operations be possible, like current nuclear reactors, which are based on fission technology, energy source of future. Fusion technology has been under development for more than 70 years, but progress has been slow. Even the optimistic forecasts, at least till a few years ago, suggested a functional fusion reactor producing electricity at a commercial scale would not be realized before 2050. For this reason, none of the global energy transition pathways for a net zero while in 2050 or 2070 factor in the potential of fusion electricity. Each one of those pathways, incidentally, is heavily dependent on the success of several other uncertain technologies such as carbon sequestration and carbon removal, whose technical and economic viability remain under doubt. However, the promise of fusion energy is alluring if and when it comes true. Other sources of alternative clean energy being explored, like solar or wind, to tackle the climate crisis are likely to become peripheral or even redundant. The fusion process produces far greater amounts of energy than any other source. 1 gram of fuel can yield as much energy as burning about 8 tons of coal. It uses cheap input materials available in almost limitless supply. Deuterium and tritium, two heavier isotopes of hydrogen that are used as fuel, are easily available in nature, has a zero emission footprint, and can be set up and operated almost anywhere. Unlike the fission process, it does not leave dangerous nuclear waste. Recent breakthrough in the last few years, fusion research has produced a string of breakthroughs. In December 2021, the United Kingdom-based JET laboratories set a new record in the amount of energy produced through fusion. It produced about 12 MW of electricity for 5 seconds, enough to cater to the demands of about 10,000 homes for that period of time. A year later, a reactor in the United States achieved a net gain in energy for the first time. The extreme conditions needed in a fusion reactor required a very large amount of input energy. Fusion would be viable only if the output energy is significantly larger. The performance of this US reactor has improved since then. Last year, researchers at MIT said they had developed a new material that could better withstand the extreme conditions within the reactor. The feats of the Chinese East reactor in 2023 and are now are the latest additions to these success. This week, fresh evidence emerged to show that China was building a large laser-ignited fusion research center that could also be used to develop thermonuclear weapons. Commonly known as hydrogen bombs, the US facility has the US facility at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California, which was the first to produce a net gain in energy in 2022, is based on a similar technology. Greater optimism. The recent breakthrough have triggered a big surge in interest and ambition for fusion energy, particularly among private companies which have entered the field in a major way. A total of 163 fusion reactors in about 30 countries are currently in operation, under construction, or being planned according to the Fusion Device Information System database maintained by International Atomic Energy Agency. The Fusion Outlook 2023 report published by IAEA shared private companies operating in this space had attracted $6.2 billion in investment that year. There were at least 43 such companies operating in more than 10 countries. Helium, a US-based company backed by tech billionaires Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, has promised to generate 50 MW of electricity by 2028, which will be provided to Microsoft. The company aims to become the first firm to start producing commercial electricity from fusion reactions. Another US company, Commonwealth Fusion System, is collaborating with MIT to generate 400 MW grid-scale electricity by the early 2030s from a plant it is building in Virginia. ITER, the largest fusion reactor and international collaborative project called ITERs, is coming up in southern France. More than 30 countries are participating, with India being one of the 7 member countries contributing to the reactor's construction and research. This project, which has been under development since 2005, is slated to become one of the biggest international science facilities in the world. According to its current timeline, it will begin deuterium-titanium fusion reactions by 2039, producing 500 MW of fusion power. ITER would not be converting the output heat energy into electricity, but its success is expected to pave the way for other machines to start using fusion energy as a regular source of electricity generation. Dr. Indranil Bandyopadhyay, Group Leader, Consumer Support and Knowledge Management, ITER India, said a 15-year timeline for nuclear fusion energy to reach commercial scale is very aggressive but not implausible. What was the role of Ripudaman Malik in 1985 Kanishka bombing? India-China star what fine print of the country's statement says. From New Delhi, in a major diplomatic breakthrough, New Delhi and Beijing have decided on a slew of measures to repair bilateral ties, resuming Kailash Mansarovar Yatra this summer, restoring direct flights between the two capitals, issuing visas for journalists and think tanks, and sharing trans-border river data. A statement from the Ministry of External Affairs said on Monday. These decisions follow Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri's recent visit to Beijing, where he met China's Foreign Ministry. BJP allies join up in seeking wider talks on one nation, one election bill from New Delhi, from the Mahakumbh Mela stampede to the composition and functioning of parliamentary committees to the number of sittings of parliament. Opposition MPs on Thursday raised various concerns during the all-party meeting ahead of the budget session of Parliament beginning January 31. Yamuna board said ammonia every year, no easy solution. The right to know and express RTI application from New Delhi. The rise in ammonia levels in the Yamuna river due to pollution entering from Panipat and Sonipat was discussed by the Upper Yamuna River Board in December 2023, with the member secretary of the board stating that the problem occurs almost every year. According to documents obtained through the Right to Information Act, the Upper Yamuna River Board regulates allocation of Yamuna waters from its source in Uttarakhand up to the Okhla barrages. A raging war has ensued between political parties in the course of Delhi election campaign, with former Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party's Arvind Kejriwal accusing BJP-ruled Haryana of water terrorism and deliberately contaminating the Yamuna. In the December 2023 UYRD meeting, however, no converging suggestions was made by board members representing state governments in Delhi, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Uttarakhand, and the issue was placed for discussion in a later meeting. RTI documents show that at a February 2024 meeting of the Upper Yamuna River Committee, chaired by the Union Jal Shakti Minister Rajendra Singh Shekhawat, Delhi Chief Minister Atishi, who was Water Minister at the time, raised concerns over ammonia pollution in the Yamuna. She pointed to untreated sewage from Panipat and leakages from DD6 to DD8, and said the resulting contamination has led to a water crisis in Delhi due to reduced supply. The committee acknowledged the issue, noting that CPCB and the National Mission for Clean Ganga NMCG were taking necessary actions related to abatement of ammonia pollution. Responding to Kejriwal attack, Haryana Chief Minister Naib Singh Saini hit back, demanding an apology and calling the allegation an insult to the state. Kejriwal has insulted the land where he was born. The people of Haryana consider Yamuna a holy river and worship it. Why would they mix poison in its water, he said. Ammonia spikes are a recurring problem in Delhi. They become a cause of worry as water treatment plants in the capital cannot treat water with ammonia content of over 1 ppm, resulting in supply disruptions over the past peak concentration of ammoniacal nitrogen in the Wajirabad pond where water comes from Haryana and is sent to the water treatment plant was 7 ppm. The problem is not new. The Yamuna is driest between November and February when there is hardly any rain upstream with fresh water falling to its lowest during winter months. The concentration of pollutants increases in the December 2023 meeting. UVRB under the Jal Shakti Ministry noted that the situation regarding pollution entering river Yamuna from Panipat and Saripat was being monitored by CBCB Chairman UVRB requested all these members to give suggestions regarding the way forward in respect of actions to be taken by UVRB in this regard. No converging suggestions were made by members. After deliberation, it was decided that CPCB may examine the issue and give their views on the way forward in respect of action to be taken. According to the minutes of the meeting of February 2024, the report of the Lok Sabha Standing Committee on Water Resources found that out of 33 locations on river Yamuna, the water quality at 23 locations, 6 out of 7 in Delhi and 6 out of 10 in Haryana was non-compliant with pollution standards between January 2021 and May 2023. The Girls Committee learned from the deposition of the representatives of the NMPCs that the river Yamuna has been categorized into 3 parts, that apart from Yamunotri to Hathnikund barrage may be considered as unpolluted stretch. The part from Hathnikund barrage to Pala is moderately polluted, however the part from Pala to Okla, basically the Delhi stretch is severely polluted, the report said. The culprit is runoff from farmland, direct discharge of effluents from industries where ammonia is used, and untreated sewage are all major sources of ammonia pollution. The units, distilleries and other factories concentrated in Panipat and Sonipat in Haryana and illegal units in Delhi, as well as untreated sewage from colonies in Delhi are behind the pollution. During a June 2024 meeting of the board, Delhi appealed to the Haryana government on humanitarian grounds for an additional 150 cusecs of water per day until the monsoon, citing a sudden shortage triggered by heat waves. Haryana, however, ruled out releasing additional water, pointing to excessive demand across its rural and urban areas. In its submission, Haryana attributed Delhi's water scarcity to its unwillingness to improve its distribution system and mismanagement of water resources, documents show. Law Ministry asked all ministries to improve judicial order compliance. from New Delhi at a time when there are 1.45 lakh contempt case pending in the High Courts and Supreme Court. The Union Law and Justice Ministry has asked all ministries to improve the compliance of judicial orders in order to reduce the number of such cases pending against the government as per the Contempt of Courts Act 1971. Civil contempt is defined as the willful disobedience to any judgment, decree, direction, order, writ, or other process of a court, or willful break of an undertaking given to a court. The law defines criminal contempt as the publication of any matter that scandalizes or tends to scandalize, or tends to lower the authority of any court, or diminishes or interference or tends to interfere with the due course of any judicial proceedings, or interferes or tends to interfere with, or obstructs or tends to obstruct the administration of justice in any other manner. A large number of pending contempt petitions concern the ministries and departments of the union and state government. In order to reduce the pendency of such cases, the Law and Justice Ministry recently wrote to the secretaries of all ministries and departments, urging them to set up a compliance mechanism. The ministry wrote on January 3 that Rajya Sabha MP Ashok Kumar Mittal had made a special mention of the increasing contempt cases in the country as a matter of urgent public importance. While speaking in the House on December 4, 2024, he had suggested that the government should set up an effective compliance mechanism to improve compliance of court orders in a time-bound manner, so justice is delivered to the litigant. In this regard, all the ministries or departments are requested to kindly look into the matter and also establish mechanism for effective timely improvement of judicial orders, which will thereby reduce the contempt cases in the country. The ministry wrote, while the ministry concerned to mount to reply to the MP who has raised a special mention, it is not necessary that it will implement the suggestions given. The Parliament source said it with a special mention. Mittal had said that after fighting lengthy legal battles in courts, when litigants get orders in their favor, they have to visit government officials and then move contempt petitions to have them implemented. It was injustice with the litigant research. Adopting pups to making rotis, how hockey stars unwind in Rourkela. News from Rourkela. Tragedy at Kumbh. UP authorities need to reflect on the lessons from Wednesday stampede. Better crowd management plans need to be in place. The suffering of the people who lost their dear ones The tragedy of Mahakumbh at Prayagraj on Wednesday is heart-rending. The lives of at least 30 devotees were snuffed out and more than 60 were injured in pre-dawn stampede on Moni Amavasya, the biggest bathing day of the Mela. There are fears that the toll could rise. Officials have blamed the incident on people breaking barricades in the rush for a dip in the holy waters on the auspicious occasion. A wave of pilgrims heading towards the Sangam, the confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati, reportedly crashed into those on their way back after the ritual bath. In the chaos, a section of the crowd jumped trees, broke columns and trampled over devotees resting near the Sangam. The UP government delayed declaring the death toll till Wednesday evening. It has ordered an inquiry that will no doubt show more light on what went wrong. One thing though is clear. The incident calls for reflection on crowd management strategies. The UP government had, by all accounts, made elaborate plans for the smooth conduct of the Kumbh. Its publicity drives played a big role in the surge of visitors. It had perhaps not factored in the fact that attendance at religious gatherings almost always swells beyond the estimate drawn up by administrators. These events test even the most well drawn out plan. Large crowds are known to be susceptible to panic. Reducing triggers, administrators and law enforcers must therefore be constantly on the visit for any sign of anxiety. More than 10 crore people took the ritual bath on Wednesday. Attendance of this magnitude is bound to test the capacities of administrators, from declaring the Mahakumbh area in Prayagraj as no vehicle and no VIP zone to preparing a plan to avoid any security issues. The UP government did put in place elaborate arrangements for the Moni Amavasya. It has drawn criticism for not prioritizing devotees and giving the residents to VIPs, photo ops, public relations and devotees from outside the country. The Kumbh Mela has always been a spectacle where politicians and celebrities rub shoulders with the mendicants and Venus and common devotees. In a digital and social media age, the pilgrims' enthusiasm to record their presence at a once in 12 years event cannot be curbed. The devotion of millions too cannot be constant. In such situation, the authorities must act decisively and lose no time in ensuring that the crowd keeps moving. Emotions such as fear and anxiety, excitement and anger can spread when people linger in one spot in a high density area. Their more Shahi Snans are scheduled at the Kumbh over the next 4 weeks. The UP government needs to quickly find out what defeated its plan on Wednesday. The inquiry into the tragedy has to be fast-tracked if need be. The government should deploy more personnel on ground, bolster technology aids such as drones, or even take help from the country's top technical institutes to sync crowd management with real-time data. Wednesday's tragedy should not be repeated. for the Yamuna to flow. The river, Delhi's lifeline, needs a consensus between states, not a political slugfest. The studies by the YMC and NIH underscore the critical importance of maintaining adequate environmental flow in the Yamuna to ensure its ecological health and the well-being of communities that depend on it. But it is unlikely that Haryana and other states will pay heed to this unless it is mandated either by the central government after arriving at a consensus or a court of law. Given the size and complexity of the issues plaguing the Yamuna, it is time that people at the helm of affairs, politicians, bureaucrats, or engineers address other problems. The solutions are in black and white. The river Yamuna and Arvind Kejriwal's claim that Haryana was mixing poison in its waters, released to Delhi, has become a major election issue. Legal wrangling on the matter had started and the election commission had questioned the statement. Kejriwal said it was his duty to warn the citizens of Delhi with just 5 days to go before the Delhi election. It might be a moment to look at the health of the river beyond politics. There are 3 separate issues concerning the Yamuna and Delhi: drinking water, pollution and environmental flow. First, the facts: the water coming from Haryana is the only source of drinking water in Delhi, and anxieties about its potability affect citizens, particularly when accountability is opaque. The supply of drinking water becomes a crisis in Delhi every few months. The capital receives its drinking water from several key inlets that all originate in Haryana, chief among them the Wazirabad barrage, where raw water from the Yamuna is received in Delhi. The flow at Wazirabad depends on the releases from Haryana's Hathni barrage. During the lean seasons, water levels often drop, leading to ammonia contamination and water shortages in Delhi. The city's drinking water depends on these inlets. Treatment at Delhi's Wazirabad, Chindrawal, Okhla, Hyderabad and Bhavana treatment plants rest entirely on the availability of water from Haryana. When the water supply is depleted, what goes into the treatment plants becomes untreatable, leading to shutdowns which have a cascading effect on water supply. There is frenzy over securing tankers and collecting water, and this is the only subject of conversation in affected neighborhoods. The solution lies in joint inspection of water released by Haryana, both in terms of quality and quantity. There is also the need for an independent monitoring system to be established and retribution in case the water released in short of the agreed norms or contains pollutants that render it untreatable for drinking. In view of the extreme distrust between governments and the matter going to the apex court every year, it is time a functional and transparent system is put in place. Is of pollutants apart from ammonia, largely due to sewage flowing in the stormwater drains. The discharge of industrial effluent mainly from licensed household industries and solid waste dumping during the period 28 and 2021. The National Green Tribunal set up the Yamuna Monitoring Committee to monitor the abatement of pollution in the river. 5 reports were given to the NGT, which pinpointed the roles and responsibilities of 16 stakeholders who contribute sustainability to pollution during the life of the committee. Each of the stakeholders, which included the Delhi Jal Board, Delhi Development Authority, and the governments of Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, committed to a slew of measures which have not been undertaken. The Nachapur, Supplementary, and Shahadra drain are significant contributors to the pollution in the Yamuna as they carry substantial amounts of untreated sewage and industrial wastage from various regions, including parts of Haryana and UP. To mitigate this, both states had committed to establishing sewage treatment plants in Gurugram. The Gurugram Metropolitan Development Authority had found that approximately 80 million liters to untreated sewage was discharged daily to stormwater drains leading to the Nasrgarh drain. However, as of the latest reports, Haryana too has not fully implemented its commitments. Long before 2018, had started work on an interceptors project to trap and treat sewage before it is discharged into the Yamuna. Despite notable improvements which are on record, the project has not achieved its intended outcomes and the river continues to suffer from significant pollution due to incomplete sewer connection in unauthorized colonies, operational inefficiencies in some STI waste, and the continuous inflow of untreated industrial waste. The third issue is environmental flow. The National Mission for Clean Ganga and under the Ministry of Jal Shakti had asked for a report from the National Institute of Hydrology (NIH) in Roorkee. In NIH study was aimed at assessing the flow of water necessary to maintain ecological balance and support essential riverine functions. The NIH concluded that the current water withdrawals upstream significantly reduced the river's flow to the really exacerbating pollution levels and harming aquatic life. It recommended regulating water release from upstream barrages, especially during lean seasons, to maintain a minimum environmental flow. The YMC too has pointed out that Delhi suffers from severely reduced flow, especially during the non-monsoon months, and this was leading to high contamination and ecological degradation. It recommended revisiting the 1994 water sharing agreement between the basin states of Delhi, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, UP to ensure a more equitable distribution of water. The studies by YMC and NIH underscore the critical importance of maintaining adequate environmental flow in the Yamuna to ensure its ecological health and the well-being of communities and depend on it. But it is unlikely that Haryana and other states will pay heed to this unless it is mandated, either by the central government after arriving at a consensus or a court of law given the size and complexity of the issues plaguing the Yamuna. It is time that people at the helm of affairs, politicians, bureaucrats or engineers address major problems. The solutions are in black and white. What is missing is the will to reach a consensus and to deal with the problem in the equitable and just manner. Unless that happens, neither promises nor manifestos have any meaning. The sooner citizens realize that what is happening, the better. Waiting and asserting. US Fed keeps interest rates steady. It has underlined its independence in face of Trump's decision. In its first meeting of the year, the US Federal Reserve voted to keep interest rates unchanged. The target rate for the federal funds rate remains at 4.25 to 4.5%. Keep eye on capex bill. The interplay between public investment and growth will need careful navigation. The overall, the overall private sector capex has yet to witness a strong pickup. Headwinds primarily emerged from global policy uncertainties, geopolitical risk, oversupply from China, increased borrowing cost and muted domestic demand with the expected monetary policy rate cut and policy support from the union budget. We remain hopeful about the pickup in private capex going forward. Every second counts. With 89 seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock's hands have never inched closer to global calamity. With parts of the world ravaged by wars, nuclear threats, and climate change, a device that warns humanity of its proximity to global destruction would be invaluable. A group of 18 researchers at the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists in the University of Chicago has indeed maintained such a device since 1947. The bad news is that the doomsday clock's hands have just inched closer to catastrophe. In fact, with 89 seconds to midnight, the BAS has asserted that continuing on the current path is a form of madness. Doomsday's clock was created by a group of scientists who had previously worked on the Manhattan Project, the American R&D program led by Robert Oppenheimer during the World War II, which culminated in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They recognized the growing danger of nuclear weapons in a new era of geopolitical tensions and originally set the clock at 7 minutes to midnight. However, since 2007, the BAS began factoring in the deadly risk posed by climate change. It is no surprise then that until 2025, the closest the clock had ever been set to midnight. Just two minutes away was in 1953 when the US and the Soviet Union tested thermonuclear weapons, and again in 2018 due to a breakdown in the international order. The farthest the clock has been set was 17 minutes to midnight in 1991, following the Soviet Union's collapse and an arms reduction treaty with the US. The global economy is slowly recovering from the devastation caused by COVID. Conflicts across the world continue to take their toll. Last year was the hottest year recorded in human history. 2025 would offer little relief in the midst of this turmoil. The doomsday clock ticks ever close to midnight. While it is a symbolic representation, it remains a powerful call to action. Every second counts. If world leaders remain indifferent and complacent, the tolling of the midnight bells may not be far off. Shimla police bust online drug network that made contactless deliveries near clients' homes. Best Trust of India from Shimla. Controlled cultivation of cannabis, concerns, recommendations and challenges in Himachal. Car with Punjab government sticker seized. State government says not with its vehicle, police say plates fake. Express News Service, New Delhi. The registration number on the recovered Hyundai Creta car was found to be of a Ford Sport car, Delhi police officer said Thursday. Delhi court grants bail to lawyer accused of raping women. CEO seeking job post retirement made issue a mess, claims Kejriwal. BJP springs surprise, grabs Chandigarh mayor's seat. Our Congress alliance had 20 votes, while BJP had 16 from Chandigarh. In a jolt to the BJP's Harpreet Babla Thursday won the high-stake Chandigarh mayoral polls against candidate Prem Lata despite the latter having a majority in the House, while Babla got 19 votes, Lata secured 17. Did DeepSeek copy open even artificial intelligence technology? Even model copying charge. News from New Delhi. Open even suspects DeepSeek may have tried training a new even model by repeatedly querying a larger pre-trained model. A technique commonly referred to as destination. Even as checked GPT infringement cases in some countries, the company believes that it is its upstart Chinese rival DeepSeek may have copied from its artificial intelligence technology not just OpenAI, but one of US President Donald Trump's top advisors has also labeled this claim without yet presenting much evidence. Adani Enterprises Q3 profit declines 97%. SEBI issues new advisory to lead influencers in bid to protect investors. News from Mumbai. Pharma, consumer goods, Trump's tariff threats, and where India could feel the heat. India's oil import reliance up at 88.1% as demand growth drives domestic outputs. What is happening in the world? Trump plans to detain worst criminal aliens at Guantanamo, moves to widen deportation net, US double lockup capacity, Cuba shares deportation plan, act of equality. News from Washington, Associated Press. President Donald Trump on Wednesday signed the Lacan Relay Act into law, giving federal authorities broader power to deport immigrants in the US illegally who have been accused of crimes. He also announced at the ceremony that his administration planned to send the worst criminal aliens to a detention center in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The Bipartisan Act, the first piece of legislation approved during Trump's second term, was named for Riley, a 22-year-old Georgia nursing student who was slain last year by a Venezuelan in the US illegally. She was a light of warmth and kindness, Trump said during a ceremony that included relay parents and sisters. Trump has promised to drastically increase deportations, but he also said at the signing that some of the people being sent back to their home countries couldn't be counted on to stay there. He said that he would direct federal officials to get facilities in Cuba ready to receive immigrants, criminals. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal aliens threatening the American people, the president said. Migrant rights groups quickly expressed dismay. Guantanamo Bay's abusive history speaks for itself, and in no uncertain terms will put people's physical and mental health in jeopardy. Spacey Su, program director of Detention Watch Network, said in a statement. Trump said the move would double U.S. detention lockup capacities, and Guantanamo is a tough place to get out of. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said his department can set up a detention center very rapidly and called Guantanamo Bay the perfect spot. The U.S. military base has been used to house detainees from the U.S. war on terrorism for years. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel said Trump wanting to show brutality. The U.S. government's decision to imprison immigrants at the Guantanamo naval base is an enclave where it creates torture and indefinite detention centers, shows contempt for the human condition and international law. Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez wrote in a post on X. Plane with 64 on board collides with army chopper over sea, all fear dead. Helicopter was carrying 3 soldiers on training flight. 28 bodies found. Trump questioned action of ATC and chopper crew. News from Washington. Everyone aboard an American Airlines jet carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members that collided with an army helicopter was feared dead in what was likely to be the worst U.S. aviation disaster on Thursday. At least 28 bodies were pulled from the icy waters of the Potomac River after the mid-air collision Wednesday night when the helicopter apparently flew in the part of the jet as it was landing at Ronald Reagan National Airport near Washington, officials said. Crews were still searching for other casualties, but did not believe there were any survivors, which would make it the deadliest U.S. air crash in the nearly 24 hours. We are now at the point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation, said John Donnelly, the fire chief in the national's capital. We don't believe there are any survivors. The body of the plane was found upside down in 3 sections in West deep water. The wreckage of the helicopter was also found. Donnelly shared first responders on Thursday were searching an area of the Potomac River as far south as the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, roughly 4.8 kilometers south of the airport. There was no immediate word on the cause of the collision, but officials said flight conditions were clear and the jet coming from Wichita, NASA with US and Russia fuel scatters and other above was making a routine landing when the helicopter flew into its path on final approach into Reagan National. It collided with our military aircraft known as otherwise normal approach. American Airlines CEO Robert Isham said at this time we don't know why the military aircraft came into the path of the aircraft. These soldiers were on board the helicopter during their training flight, an army official previously said. The investigators will try to piece together the aircraft's final movements before their collision, including contacting with air traffic controllers as well as a loss of altitude by the passenger's jet. In a post on Truth Social, President Donald Trump questioned the actions of the helicopter crew and air traffic controllers. This is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented, not good, he wrote. Air traffic control audio captures movements before and after crash. Newsroom, Washington, air traffic control audio recorded the movements before and after an American Airlines regional passenger jet crashed with a US Army Black Hawk helicopter over the Washington on Wednesday night. Audio from live ATC net captured the final communications between the three crew members of the helicopter call sign PAT 25 before it controlled with CRJ-700 bombardier jets carrying 64 passengers and crew. PAT 25, do you have a CRJ inside? PAT 25 passed behind the CRJ and air traffic control said at 01:47 GMT on Thursday. Seconds later, another aircraft called into air traffic control saying tower. Did you see that? Apparently referring to the crash. The crash. This is an alert. See, one of the air traffic controllers can be heard saying in the audio from around the time of the crash. I don't know if you caught earlier what happened, but there was a collision on the approach into 33. We are going to be shutting down operations for the indefinite future. Another controller began. Both the helicopter and the plane crashed in the a third air traffic controller can be heard saying Stop sea aggression will return missiles to US, Philippines, opposite to China. Merkel slams party leader for cooperating with far-right Hamas frees 8 more hostages after tears in Gaza. Israel delays release of 110 prisoners. Are we all aliens? NASA asteroid samples show ingredients of life from our tree. What? Findings provide strongest evidence yet. Finding provides strongest evidence yet that asteroids may have planted seeds of life on Earth. Are we all aliens? NASA asteroid samples show ingredients of life from what? Canaveral asteroid samples fetched by NASA holds not only the pristine building blocks for life but also the salty remains of an ancient water world. Scientists reported Wednesday the findings provide the strongest evidentiate that asteroids may have planted the seeds of life on Earth and that these were mingling with water almost right from the start. That's the kind of environment that could have been essential to the steps that lead from elements to life, said the Smithsonian Institution's James McQuay, one of the lead study authors. NASA's Odysseus spacecraft returned 122 grams, 4 ounces of dust and pebbles from the near Earth asteroid Bennu, delivering the sample canister to the Utah Desert in 2023 before swooping off after another space rock. It remains the biggest cosmic haul from beyond the moon. The two previous asteroid sample missions by Japan yielded considerably less material. Small amounts of Bennu's precious black grains left overs from the solar system's formation 4.5 billion years ago was doled out to the two separate research teams whose studies appeared in the journals Nature and Nature Astronomy, but it was more than enough to ease out the sodium-rich minerals and confirm the presence of amino acids, nitrogen in the form of ammonia and one parts of the genetic code. Some if not all of the delicate salts found at Bennu, similar to what's in the dry lake beds of California's Mojave Desert and Africa's Sahara, would be stripped away if present in falling meteorites. This discovery was only possible by analyzing samples that were collected directly from the asteroid, then carefully preserved back on Earth's Institute of Science Tokyo's Ryushu Shekino said in an editorial, combining the ingredients of life with an environment of sodium-rich salt water or brines, that's really the pathway to life, said M. McCoy. The National Museum of Natural History's curator of meteorites, these processes probably occurred much earlier and were much more widespread than we had thought before. NASA's Daniel Levin said one of the biggest surprises was the relatively high abundance of nitrogen, including ammonia, while all of the organic molecules found in the Bennu samples have been identified before in meteorites. Levin said the ones from Bennu are very real extraterrestrial organic material formed in space and not a result of contamination from Earth. Bennu, a rubble pile just 1/2 of the kilometers across, was originally part of a much larger asteroid that got clobbered by other space rocks. The latest results suggest this parent body had an extensive underground network of lakes or even oceans, and that the water evaporated away. Many are pushing for a mission to collect rocks and dirt from the potentially waterlogged dwarf planet Chaos in the main asteroid belt. Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus also beckon and antique water worlds. Meanwhile, NASA has core sample awaiting pickups at Mars, but their delivery is on hold while the space agency studies the quickest and cheapest way to get them here. Are we alone? McCoy shared that's one of the questions we are trying to answer. Xi aggression will return missiles to US, Philippines offers deal to China. Neutron Manila associated process. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. offered on Friday to remove a US missile system from the Philippines if China halts what he called its aggressive and coercive behavior in the disputed South China Sea. The US Army installs the Typhoon mid-range missile systems in the northern Philippines in April last year to support what the long-term treaty allies described as training for joint combat readiness. China has repeatedly demanded that the Philippines remove the missile system, saying it was inciting geopolitical confrontation and an arms race. Asked about China's criticism of the missile system, Marcos said he did not understand the Chinese position because the Philippines does not comment on China's missile system, which are 1,000 times more powerful than what we have. Let's make a deal with China. Stop claiming our territory. Stop harassing our fishermen and let them have a living. Stop ramming our boats. Stop water canoeing our people. Stop firing laser at us and stop your aggressive and coercive behavior and we'll return the Typhoon missiles, Marcos said. Chinese officials did not immediately comment on the Philippines' leader remarks. USA's Typhoon missile system, which consists of a launcher and at least 16 standard missile section Tomahawk land attack missiles, was repositioned to a strategic area near the capital, Manila, senior Philippine official said. Now news from world of sports. Manchester City, Delhi and Beach Club Blues they can advance to next round. Thakur records a hat-trick for Mumbai. It must win match versus Minos Meghalaya. Wave sweeps Delhi. News on the world of sports. The crowds walked over me, scattered shoes, slippers, clothes tell the story of the chaos that unfolded at the Sangam area of the Mahakumbh early Wednesday morning. At least 30 people were killed and 60 suffered injuries in the stampede. As young, old, wait for bodies, locals offer helping hand, if no, as the families of stampede victims waited in the biting cold outside Lala's mortuary to collect the bodies of their loved ones. A group of local residents stampede up to provide them a small measure of the group, comprising around 10 people, provided snacks, tea and coffee to the elderly and arranged milk for children from the early hours of Wednesday at the campus of Motilal Nehru Medical College. Most of these volunteers are family members of Class 4 employees at the college who reside near the nursery located in the campus. We saw a large number of people gathered at the mortuary gate. It was heartbreaking to see elderly persons and children said onward walks at the gate of the girls' hostel of the college. She reached out to some neighbors and they all decided to prepare some refreshments for those in the crowd. Initially, people were hesitant to take anything, but as time passed, they accepted the tea and coffee. She added the mortuary premises saw a large crowd as grieving families gathered to collect the bodies of their loved ones after post-mortem procedures. After noticing some people sitting for a long time, we offered them food, but they declined, said Meena Devi, whose husband Karnal works at the medical college. Sagar Kumar, whose father Premchand works at the medical college, said they had prepared hundreds of cups of tea and coffee for those waiting outside the post-mortem house since early morning. We are still working, he said on Wednesday late evening. Four from Karnataka feel that at least four people from Karnataka's Belagavi, including a mother-daughter duo, were feared to be among the casualties of the Mahakumbh stampede on Wednesday. The victims from Belagavi were identified as BJP worker Jyoti Hyderabad 50, her daughter Maha Hyderabad 60, Mahadevi Bhavaran and Arun Gopal. While the crowd was bigger than usual, the stampede at the Sangam took place in the early hours of Wednesday, January 29. 88 crowds bigger than usual were flocking to the river bank for the ritual dip. This was because January 29 was Moni Amavasya, one of the days considered very auspicious for taking a bath at the Kumbh Mela. Moni Amavasya is the new moon night of Krishna Prabhu, the waning moon fortnight of the Hindu month of Magha, and the day both the sun and moon are in the same Rashi of Makar Capricorn, which makes it astrologically significant. Dawn means silence and morning. Nausea is believed that observing silence, at least till before one takes a bath, is beneficial. According to Hindu religious beliefs, taking a ritual bath in the river on morning Amavasya washes away one's sins. Taking a dip in the Triveni on a morning Amavasya during Kumbh Mela is thus of added spiritual significance. Dr. Ramesh Kumar Upadhyay, President of the Bharatiya Joshi Adhyatam Parishad, said about why silence is observed on this day. Upadhyay said the new moon is a day of big happening in the world nature. The high tide and low tide are more pronounced on such a day when nature is so dynamic. Hindu sagas have advised stillness and silence for a human. 50 lakh devotees arrived in Ayodhya. State government says Ayodhya on the occasion of Moni Navasya Ayodhya to witness an overwhelming surge of devotees. Who took a holy dip in the Sole River. Experts estimate that over 50 lakh devotees have arrived in Ayodhya in the past 72 hours, and the influx is expected to continue until Vasant Panchami. Official statement said the temple, the town, remained packed with worshippers throughout the day. The long queues outside Ram Mandir and Hanuman Gadi temple extending late into the night. A massive crowd stressed from Srinagar Heart to the temple promises. Similar scenes were observed at the Ram temple. UPCM orders judicial probe such incidents give us lessons. Express News Service from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Wednesday evening ordered a judicial probe into the stampede at Makum that left at least 30 people dead during the Amrit Salan on the occasion of Morning Amavasya. The Chief Minister said that the separate inquiry will be conducted by the UP police into the incident. The three-member of judicial probe team will be headed by retired Justice of Allahabad High Court Harsh Kumar. The other two members of the team are former DCP V.K. Gupta and retired IAS official V.K. Singh. In a notification issued later, the government stated that the probe would cover 2 points. One, finding out the reasons and circumstances that caused the incident, and two, to give suggestions about preventing such happenings in future. The Commission has been given 1 month to submit the report, but it could be extended. In a statement, the CM said these incidents give us lessons as well as we have decided to go into the roots of this incident. We will conduct a judicial inquiry into it because in a statement, the CM said these incidents give us lessons as well as we have decided to go into the roots of this incident. We will conduct a judicial inquiry into it because after so many reviews of arrangements and keeping vigilance at the local level such as tragedy took place, the inquiry is being done to find out the reasons. Besides this, monitoring was done by the CM Control Room, DCP Control Room and Chief Secretary Control Room, and meetings were conducted the whole day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, BJP National President JP Nadda and UP Governor Anandiben Patel have been coordinated since morning, the CM said. It is very natural that questions are being raised on these issues. This morning, Amavasya Snan is the main Snan, and all the roads were chalked. The administration was engaged to clear those chalked roads. After the incident, the Akhadas had postponed the Amrit Snan schedule at 4 p.m. and this was done later in the afternoon. There has been a pressure of over 8 crore pilgrims in Prayagraj and they have been stopped in adjoining district by setting up holding areas. They have now been released after the Amrit Snan by Akhadas. There has been immense pressure at different railway stations in Prayagraj and railways operated overseas 100 trains to carry the pilgrims to their destinations, the CM added. According to the CM, the incident occurred due to the huge crowd breaking the barricades at Akhada Marg and crossing the barricades by jumping over it. And mortuary wait and despair can't go back without her on her body. People struggle to find missing loved ones. The day after bodies returned home, cars were crowded at site, security stampede at the Mahakumbh at stampede site near the Sangam. India braces for even challenges government says on foundational modeling for 2 8 months. Cloud Road MPA Rawat says many in BJP want to align with Sena. Last but not the least, let's go through the ideas. What ideas is being presented by Sachin Pilot. He like to guide us now more than ever. Mahatma Gandhi's politics, philosophy, and life must be followed and emulated. Why should we remember Mahatma Gandhi 77 years after he was assassinated? Because more than ever, his legacy is of contemporary relevance and universal importance. Gandhi was a multi-dimensional person who, while engaged in politics, gave new insights into every walk of life, such as social justice, peaceful resistance, morality, communities, and service. He understood that the path to good governance started from social change. His writings are testimony to his keen observation of his environment and engagement to engage constructively with the problems of society. The world remembers him for several reasons. First, Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of Satyagraha, meaning of firmness and insistence on truth, revolutionized the way social and political conflicts could be addressed, unlike traditional methods that often relied on violence or coercion. Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth, love, and non-violence to bring about change. Gandhi demonstrated this principle during key moments such as the Salt March, where thousands peacefully defied British laws, and the Quit India movement. His method sought to appeal to the moral conscience of the oppressor, fostering reconciliation rather than perpetuating cycles of violence. Gandhiji's approach has had a lasting global impact, influencing leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. in the US, Nelson Mandela in the South Africa, Lech Wales in Poland, and Aung San Suu Kyi in Myanmar. These leaders adopted Satyagraha to challenge systematic injustices such as racial segregation and political oppression. His work teaches the peaceful resistance when combined with unity and under determination. Unity and determination is a powerful weapon against oppression. making him a timeless symbol of the power of non-violence. Satyagraha remains a powerful tool today to make our governments more accountable and ensure that they stay true to their constitutional obligations. Second, Gandhi addressed systematic inequalities, particularly those affecting marginalized communities. His campaign against caste discrimination, untouchability, and gender inequality continue to resonate. Gandhi believed in the inherent dignity of every individual and worked tirelessly to dismantle systems of inequality and injustice. One of his best significant efforts was his fight against the oppressive practice of untouchability. He advocated for their integration into the mainstream and their equal rights, challenging deeply entrenched social norms. His campaign, including raising awareness, promoting education, and even living among marginalized communities to understand their struggles. Gandhi also championed gender equality, advocated for women's education and their active participation in social and political life. He saw women as equal partners in the struggle for freedom and encouraged them to lead movements as seen in the Salt March. His emphasis on non-violence and moral strength gave marginalized many marginalized individuals the courage to speak out against injustice. Its solution to escape crony capitalism was trustworthy. Capitalism was trusteeship and cooperation, which showed an alternative to capitalism and socialism. Today, as we continue to repair fault lines along caste, religion, economics, Gandhiji's vision of social justice serves as an inspiration for movements seeking to combat systematic inequality. Students protest against paper leaks and mismanagement of public examinations across different states in India embody this spirit and have shaken the foundation of several governments. We have been witnesses to one of the most successful peaceful agitations by India's farmers, which led to the withdrawal of the farm laws in 2021. That is the epitome of Gandhian struggle. Peaceful protests leading to policy change. Third, Gandhiji's emphasis on Gram Swaraj is a shining example of empowering India's village. He envisioned a society that is composed of autonomous, self-reliant villages. Gandhi championed simple living, self-sufficiency, and the responsible use of resources in an era of climate change and environmental crisis. His emphasis on sustainability and harmony with the nature offers valuable lessons. Gandhiji's lifestyle was a testament in simplicity and sustainability. He advocated for a life free from excessive materialism, emphasizing the importance of self-reliance and local production. His promotion of the charkha spinning wheel symbolized the importance of self-sufficiency and small-scale community-based economies. He argued that true wealth lay in the well-being of communities and their ability to live harmoniously with nature. His emphasis on reducing waste, living within one's means, and conserving resources aligns closely with modern movements advocating for sustainability. Fourth, Gandhiji's propagated morality in politics. His life exemplified integrity, humility, and courage. He showed that leadership rooted in moral conviction rather than power of wealth could inspire profound societal transformation. He demonstrated humility, rejecting wealth and power and choosing to live among the people he served. His dedication to Satya means truth and Ahimsa means non-violence. Was unwavering even in the face of adversity. By remembering Gandhi, we reaffirm the timeless power of non-violence, empathy, and moral leadership. His ideals remain a guiding light for equitable world. Gandhiji's emphasis on non-violent resistance rights has become a cornerstone of human perseverance, but also a commitment to peace and understanding. In today's technology, Gandhiji's teachings provide a blueprint for addressing global challenges, authoritarianism, and human rights abuse. Let us not forget that India, being his Janambhumi and Karambhumi, has greater responsibility in sustaining Gandhiji's teachings. We can do this through constructive works that contributes to nation building, helping others peacefully resisting immoral policies and building empathetic communities. Despite talent, India lags behind. Most A1 startups, the country and enterprises rely on foreign LLMs which limit their ability to innovate and cater to local needs. On January 20, Edge, the words tuned into the inauguration of Donald Trump as the 47th, the US president. Investing in foundational models is not just a matter of national pride, it is an economic imperative. Generative A1 has the potential to add trillions of dollars to the global economy, and India cannot afford to be a passive consumer in this transformative wave. It's time for the A1 leap. Unveiling of Chinese companies. A1 tool is an opportunity to work on low-cost innovation. India has the talent and resolve. It must act now. DeepSeek is open source, which is very important as it allows users to download the models and run them on their own hardware if they have the capacity. This means Indian startups don't need to rely on sheer servers located in China and can create their own versions of the DeepSeek service. Thank you, all of you. Thanks.